Let's talk about your background. You obviously had your own personal story that led you to writing The Effective Edge and getting it together in your own personal life. Tell us that story.
How long do we have? It's funny. At the time, it was a big struggle, and early in my life, in my early 20s, actually, I was blessed to have a child, and my child's father my husband decided not to stay with us, that marriage wasn't something for him, and I was only 2 years into my college. And what was interesting about that is that there was no Google to say help, stressed out. That one book on time management that you referred to didn't exist yet, and there was no self-help section at the library or the bookstore, and so I really struggled alone trying to figure things out. And that was the good news and the bad news. And so I literally had to take and break things down and just declare myself a student of what does it take, because I wasn't willing to be sort of a distant mom or a halfway mom. I wasn't willing to be, I had to be a great student. My college and my career was on the line, and I had to work full-time. So I had to be a great employee because I needed to keep my job. And so in addition to those three roles, I also became a student of what does it take to be effective and productive. And I couldn't just wear myself out and go home and just crash. There was no opportunity to just crash. I still had to be a mother, and I wanted to be a great mother. And so the impetus for that and tried and true over the years, and about the time I felt like I was really thriving, people started reaching out to me and said, I don't know what you have, but I need that. And I grew up in a city where you really didn't, it was all about looking good. So when I was really surprised that people that come from the same city about looking good would actually want what I had, and that's really how the Effective Edge was.
Our in-studio manager of operations, Tiffany, is flashing screen pictures of the folks listening throughout the world on the screen for me this morning, and I can see a lot of moms and dads and folks that can identify with exactly what you're saying. And there's a tremendous amount of guilt when you take a look at your work life and your personal life and you say one has got to sacrifice for the other. But really, the Effective Edge means no, neither has to sacrifice. You can be great at both.
I absolutely agree with that. And it took me a long time to get to that place that said, I can thrive in all of these. I have to work very smart. You know, some people say, oh, you're so organized. I say, no, I am lazy. I don't have the luxury of looking at that email 3 times to figure out what opening it and closing it, and opening it and closing it and marking it unread, or opening it and closing it and getting too far down the string so I resend it to myself, or opening it and then printing it out so that I can make sure I deliver it. I have to make the smart, effective decision right then so that I can continue to make forward progress, so that I'm, 1, energized, and 2, know I'm making the right, moving things in the right direction, so that when I go home I can take that energy and give it to myself and my husband and my children and my church and my neighborhood that I'm the community board and my girlfriend. I want all of that, and I'm not willing to compromise.
Well, I think we have people sufficiently identifying with the situation of being overloaded, over-communicated, and really just swamped in paperwork and emails, and feeling like they're having to sacrifice and feeling that guilt.